the world is searching for. Here, right here, my dear, I don't have to look no more. In all my days, I hope and I pray for someone just like you, make me feel the way you do. Right on, keep on doing it. 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 I found what the world is searching for. Here, right here, my dear, I don't have to look no more. In all my days, I hope and I pray for someone just like you, make me feel the way you do. Right on, keep on doing it. 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 I found what the world is searching for. Here, right here, my dear, I don't have to look no more. In all my days, I hope and I pray for someone just like you, make me feel the way you do. Right on, keep on doing it. Right on, keep on doing it. Right on, keep on doing it. Right on.
Almighty, this shit Stewie, boy.
What up, everybody? I know it's not our regular scheduled day Monday, but y'all know what time it is, man. It's 7 o'clock, and it is time for your favorite show that you've never heard of, the Saul G Show. I'm your host, the Kung Fu Hebrew Saul G. Welcome, everybody, to the show tonight. Hopefully, everybody out there can hear me. I did a little sound check before, but hopefully, everybody out there can hear me. Maybe I can just go ahead and check in and let me know that y'all tuned in or whatnot. I got a good show for you tonight. Like I said, we're going to go, we're going to start off with some Olympic big ball energy tonight. I'm definitely talking about the House of Dragon. And then, I'm going to get into some other topics that I want to get into tonight. So let's go ahead and get things started with big ball energy.
Game over. Big ball energy. I got that big ball energy. Big like a Humvee, thick like an oak tree, wide like the Red Sea, fat like Chris Christie, hairy like a goatee. I got that big ball energy. I got that big ball energy. I got that big ball energy.
Let's get into it. All right. If you didn't know, the Olympic Games are going on in Paris, France right now. So I don't know if everybody knows it, but hopefully you do. I don't know if everybody's paying attention to it. But real quick, let's just get into that. I'm gonna fix my glasses real quick. So over looking kind of crooked tonight. You know, let me take these off because I can't even. My joints looking crooked. I don't want to be looking crazy tonight. But anyway, let's get into it, man. United States medal count right now. We got 26 total. 4 gold, 11 silver, and 11 bronze, man. So shout out to the United States over there holding it down. We haven't got to the track and field yet, but hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we'll get to that. You understand what I'm saying? So I haven't been watching too much of it. I might have watched a little bit of it. Not too much, you know, I ain't gonna front. It ain't holding the same that it used to, where it was like a must-see event, man. You know, you had to watch the track and field. You normally had to watch the gymnastics, different things like that. I don't know why the Olympics don't necessarily hold the same weight that it used to, but at the same time, man, shout out to the United States. Shout out to the men's basketball team that was led by Kevin Durant. They beat Serbia in their first game, 110-24. A lot of people was worried about the USA team. I'm still saying I don't think they're going to win gold, but, you know, we're going to have to wait and see how all that stuff pans out. But I don't know. I don't know. They look real good against Serbia. The warm-up games maybe didn't go the way that I guess we want, because, you know, I guess we got spoiled by the dream team, and we used to the United States just dominate basketball. But I've already talked about how kind of the United States basketball has fell off. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think he just started yet. I don't know what that is saying. I don't think he started yet. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what's going on. We got a couple of medalists to talk about. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but hopefully I'm streaming live right now. It got me on here live. So, like I said, if you can hear me and you can see me, that means we live. So, let's go. Let's see here. Okay, no problem. All right. So, speaking of gold medals, I think one of the favorites of the Olympics is always going to be gymnastics. So, shout out to the women's gymnastic team for winning gold, you know, led by Simone Biles and everybody else, you know what I mean? So, you know, shout out to the USA team for winning gold. And, you know, since it don't normally happen, you know, otherwise I probably wouldn't speak on them. But shout out to the men's gymnastic team for picking up bronze in the team competition. You know what I mean? You know, I'm pretty sure somewhere you know, I think now your fathers can be proud at this point. You know what I mean? Because when they probably wanted you out there on the football field or boxing or playing basketball or anything else besides gymnastics, you can say, Dad, guess what? I'm an Olympic bronze medalist. So shout out to the men's team, man. We ain't seen the men's gymnastic team have anything worth talking about since the 90s. So shout out to y'all, man, for bringing that home. Let's see. Still no Olympics for the tees, man. You know, I so far, even though the United States and many European countries want to recognize the tees as biological, whichever gender they decide to identify with, the Olympic Committee still says no, because imagine thinking biological males could potentially have any sort of athletic advantage over a biological female. Imagine believing that's a true thing. But a lot of tees are protesting the Olympics because they don't believe it's fair. You know, they believe that they should have you know, equal opportunity in this. And I believe, before we get on the track, I believe they should have equal opportunity in like women's basketball. That's what I would like to see, because a lot of these times that these teams are running are not competitive with men, but, you know, against women. Because if you look at the world records for women and men in like running events, there's normally a very huge gap, right? But uh, like I said, for some reason the tees maybe one day, right before the world is flooded again, the tees will be allowed in the Olympics, and we can just have a whole big mess, and everybody will be complaining if they want a whole bunch of medals. But if they on the U.S., man, I don't. I mean, it's still gonna be a gold medal, so I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I'd probably be like, they cheated, so I ain't gonna even play around with it now. I don't. I want the men against the men and the women against the women. Period. All right. No Chill Gil mocked South Sudan, right? So if y'all know who Gilbert Arenas is, I don't want to say he's in hot water because this is what he does, but he got into a little social media thing because he started mocking South Sudan. You know what I mean? And if you look at the South Sudanese players, he said, I don't understand why the United States was struggling in a warm-up game. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., there will be a rematch between the United States and South Sudan, who we barely beat. If you watch the other show, that's when LeBron James had to make a shot at the end of the game, and they had to defend a last-second shot against South Sudan to beat them by 1 point. So Gilbert Arenas was saying, these are the people that live in huts, and we remember the videos growing up with the children with the flies on it, and why are we struggling? And then you start Googling about South Sudan, and I believe the country, like South Sudan, is 13 years old or something like that. They don't have any indoor basketball courts and things like that. So he was taking a lot of shots, and he mentioned that he believed that they, like I said, I believe I qualify as a chocolate brother, but by comparison, he said something about the complexion of some of these South Sudanese players, and he also said that wearing black jerseys is not a good look, which is kind of confusing because when you look at the colors on their flag, why exactly are they wearing black? And I mean, honestly, if you're gonna look at their complexion too, yeah, they definitely need to go with some counter contrasting colors. But yeah, so that's the Olympics, man. I'll probably tune in to some of the 100 meters and things that are about to happen here pretty soon when they get to the track and field events. But that's all I got for Big Ball Energy. I don't talk about baseball. The NBA season is over. I'm not talking. I mean, college football is coming. We got the preseason coming, but I really don't want to talk about training camps, stuff like that. I just feel like that's just too much. But when football season starts, then, I'll start talking about it. But for right now, we're just going to hit the Olympics. Then after that, maybe I'll get the preseason, some little college football things. But, man, y'all know what time it is when y'all hear this song start playing in the background. All right. So it's time to get into House of the Dragon, my bad. There is no more. The Boys is no longer on. It's not a lot of shows out right now. You know what I mean? So after next week, we got the season finale of House of the Dragon. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But this was episode 7, I believe. Don't remember the name of the episode, to be honest with you. But I guess you could say a lot of things happened in the episode. But this is basically how I felt about the episode. You get a dragon, and you get a dragon, and you get a dragon, and everyone gets a dragon. And just to go ahead and put this out there, because I didn't do it. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen episode 7 yet. But hopefully, especially since you had an extra day, not like I'll be trying to force you to watch it on Sunday. It'd be better, unless you're going to catch it on the replay, man. Spoiler alert, because you had a whole Monday to watch it as well, because I wasn't able to do the show yesterday, work and such, but I will be taking off these shackles soon enough, man. So I will be celebrating, and I'll be having a unshackling show where there's going to be Cash App giveaways and just a good night, man. We're probably gonna do some live call-ins, man, where I'm just gonna celebrate myself, not being arrogant, but just I'm gonna show some love because anybody out there who has been able to unshackle themselves from the burden of a 9 to 5, going to work for somebody else every single day, waking up knowing that there's somebody above you who at any point in time, we're downsizing. Goodbye. We're going in a different direction. Goodbye. Your position's been replaced. Goodbye. It's going to be great to be that person all the way at the top who can now look down and say, hey, your performance isn't looking too great there, buddy. Goodbye. So, I'm not saying I'm going to be looking to fire people, but, it's going to be different. And I can relax and I can enjoy life and do some of the things that I've been wanting to do for years now. And, like I said, I got some big announcements coming as far as that stuff is concerned too, but we'll get to that. So like I said, everybody's getting a dragon. And the bad part about it is everybody's not a Targaryen, which kind of makes the whole like, when you watch the original Game of Thrones, Daenerys was the only one that had a dragon, so it made her special. She was the queen of the dragons, and everybody liked her, and she was probably the most popular character in Game of Thrones until that awful season 8 debacle, right? So now that everybody's getting a dragon, and you don't even necessarily have to be a full-blooded Targaryen, one of the characters who I really don't like, his name is Jacaerys Valerian, right? I'm sorry, yeah, Jacaerys Valerian, right? Because he's not a Targaryen. Because you got to remember, his father was the little sweetmeat of Valerian, who they took out the show after season 1. So, as I'm watching this show, and as you watch what happened with the dragons in that one little battle that we got in that one episode alone, I mean, it seems like it's so long ago now. But we got that one little battle. Basically, if you got a dragon, I mean, you really don't need no army. This whole thing, I know it's called House of the Dragon and all of that, but that's the reason why I feel like we're wasting time. You're wasting time showing Daemon Targaryen at Harrenhal, trying to get the River Lords, and now he's got the Tullys underneath his banner. Don't mean anything. All you need is a couple of passes with your dragon, and it's a wrap. So you can have an army of 40,000. Really don't matter. As long as your dragon don't get shot down, you're good. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to make some final predictions about what's going to happen. But I've been doing some calculations here. So if you know, there's a people called, well, not the people, but this is basically the greens versus the blacks, right? So first of all, let's count how many dragons the greens have. You got my dog Patches on his dragon Vagar, and I'm not gonna know all of these dragons, so if you want to get me in the comments, feel free, right? Because I mean, honestly, they ride dragons, man. If you want to go watch a more seasoned or knowledgeable about all the different dragon names and how old they are and what color, I don't have time for that. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. So I know my dog Patch's dragon is named Vagar because that's my dog. Everybody who watches the show to know that's my favorite character. Then you had this dragon that I believe they said died somehow. This was Sunfire. This was King Aegon's dragon. So if you remember the episode where somehow miraculously he survived a fall, being burned and all that other stuff, allegedly his dragon didn't make it. So as we count the dragons, one for the greens. That's it. Now, when we go to the black side, right? Ironically, the black side. That's one thing I just realized, that all the black characters are on the blacks. But anyway, that's against the point. I'll get to racism in Game of Thrones on another show. But let's get to it. This was the ending scene, right? With the queen. It's kind of not as clear as I would have wanted it, but this was the ending scene where my dog Patches is heading to go see another dragon, and I'll get to that real quick. But you got Queen Rhaenyra, right? She's got her dragon. So that's one. You got Daemon Targaryen with his red dragon. That makes two. You got, I don't remember what her name is, but I know she's a Targaryen. She's Daemon's daughter. I believe her name is, see, this is the problem with Game of Thrones. You got like Daemon, Aemon, you got Aemon, Aegon, Daemon, Rhaena, Rhaenyra, Rhaenys. It's like, man, y'all got to get some better names. But whichever is the older daughter of Daemon Targaryen and the former Valerian who burned herself in season 1 to death with her own dragon. Yeah, this is Moon Dancer, which ironically is named after a character on My Little Pony. Then you got this guy whose name is Adam Hole. You saw him, and I've already talked about this. His dad is Corlys Valerian, but he goes by Adam Hole because he was not raised. I thought their name was Waters, but apparently that's wrong. They go by Hole, so I guess it's like the hull of the boat, which is also kind of terrible because if you think about that word hole, and if I'm not mistaken, ain't that where during the slave trade, ain't that like the bottom of the boat? Where is the hull located? Where is the hull of a ship? The hull of a ship is the watertight body of the vessel extending from the deck down. So yeah, once again, a little bit more of that Game of Thrones racism that we all love because y'all wanted diversity and stuff like that. So, black man riding the whitest dragon in Westeros. And the funny thing about this white dragon, right, having a black rider, pause, is because if you remember back to season 1, your boy Prince Sweetmeat was riding that white dragon, pause, both ways, because you know his little lover boy who got murked in that at that banquet was white as well. And if you remember the episode, like he said, I didn't choose the dragon sought me out. So apparently this white dragon, which I believe is called Sea Smoke, like I said, likes that dark meat, you know. So that was what was going on. Then you got this dude who clearly should have got killed multiple times, who was yelling at the dragon, and apparently he is now the owner of the second largest dragon in Westeros, right behind my dog Patch's dragon. So if you lost count, that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 1. Yeah. Then you had this dude who should have got killed again, because if you watch the episode, it looked like he crushed the dragon egg, but he didn't. And this is, I believe his name is Off the White or something like that. But apparently he was supposed to be a Targaryen or whatever the name may be. So that makes 7. And my prediction, they keep showing her wanting a dragon, and they send her over there with some baby dragons. She keeps running around the woods looking for this random dragon that appears to be burning stuff up in the Vale. So my prediction is she's finally gonna get a dragon in the last episode, because otherwise there was no point of her even going to the Vale, because basically nothing happened. All right, so that's all I got for Game of Thrones, man. I'm looking forward to the final episode. It looks like they're trying to do some very interesting things. Like apparently the queen, not the Queen Hightower lady, not Allison, but the queen who snitched on her baby and said, "Nah, kill that one." Yeah, that queen. Apparently, she might be able to ride a dragon. So, like I said, Game of Thrones is just going all in on the dragons. I don't know what's gonna happen. All I'm hoping for is we go ahead and get Cole up out the paint. Who else need to get up out of there? I want Crip, aka the guy who's he got the club foot. Get him on up out of there, because I mean he's like a fake Varys, but he just, I don't know, he's just the worst. You need to get him up out of there too, even though I know he gonna make it, because he ain't gonna be nowhere near a battle. So Get Crip on up out of there. I need my dog Patches to survive, but I don't know how he gonna survive when it's 7-on-1. And even if Damon and the other daughter don't bring their dragon, it's still 5-on-1. I don't know how my dog Patches gonna do that. Maybe I think potentially that one guy that I showed, right? Because Game of Thrones it used to be a lot more subtle what they do, right? Like, remember the Adam guy in the other episode? He's looking up in the sky like, man, I'd really like to ride a dragon one day. And then a couple of episodes down the road, he's riding a dragon. So you knew this guy was going to make it, and you knew this guy was going to make it, because otherwise, why would they have even showed them, right? So he was tasked with making the scorpion, right? And if you remember from Game of Thrones, the scorpion is the weapon that can shoot down a dragon. If you remember that great scene where the dragon just gets shot out of nowhere, you know what I mean, from Game of Thrones, where it's just like just flying, bam, get hit with a dragon, fall into the water, dead, right? So he was charged with building the scorpion. So I think, ironically, he might get killed by a scorpion, because somehow some of these people got to get taken out, because otherwise we're not really going to have a show at a certain point. But it's been my little talk about Game of Thrones, so go ahead and change things up a little bit. And if you look at what the title was, I'm going to be talking about this. Is Deadpool and Wolverine the best MCU movie ever? And when I thought about it, and I had a couple of conversations, I'm still going to say yes. Because I'm not going to lie, I know it's not the most significant MCU film ever, but from start to finish, as far as being like when I left the movie theater, I was, luckily I was in the cheap part of America, so I only had to pay $9 to go watch it. So did I get my $9 worth? Absolutely. Because I've gone back and I've rewatched some Endgame, and I've rewatched different things. But like I said, from the beginning, and there's going to be no spoilers in this. I'm not going to tell you what happened, who's in the movie. But all I can say is from the beginning, where he's kind of dancing and fighting, to the very end scene, that happens in the street, to some of the side characters, to some of the cameos, to some of the people who you thought you were going to see, or who you thought these people were, some of the change-ups. I just really enjoyed the movie. I know a lot of people, I've seen the negative parts of it, about the plot not being great. But I mean, did you really complain about Endgame when a rat got Ant-Man up out of there? You know what I mean? If that rat doesn't do that, then there is no Endgame. So the plot can only be but so much. You know what I mean? And when you go back and watch some of these movies, all of them have holes if you really, really, really want to just break a movie down. You really want to be very hard on the movie. But I went into this movie with no expectations, and I'm not going to go to say that Deadpool and Wolverine saved the MCU, because the MCU has been putting out straight garbage since Spider-Man No Way Home, right? That was about the last good MCU movies, because everything else looked like it's going to be doing some other things. If you just heard, I don't know if you heard, but Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU, not as Iron Man, but he's been picked to play Dr. Doom, which could explain what they're going to do. They might just try to fade out the whole Kang part now that Jonathan Majors looks like he's out of his role in the MCU. So they might try to phase out Kang, bring in Dr. Doom. He's going to be the next villain. But to me, it's kind of desperation from the MCU, because out of all the actors you could get, out of all the people you could have brought into the MCU, you decide to go back and get Robert Downey Jr., who I think is a great actor. But I mean, y'all are trying to go back to the winning formula that y'all messed up. So at this point, like I said, I'm gonna say Deadpool and Wolverine to me was probably, I mean, it was definitely the most enjoyable MCU movie I've seen. And I'm not what do they say? I don't know, something like when you're in the moment, and maybe I've been waiting for something good for so long that maybe I am blowing it up a little bit. But to be laughing in the movies, to leave a movie theater happy, even the post-credit scene was satisfying to me. So shout out to Ryan Reynolds, man, and what's his name, man? Hugh Jackman. I know he's just playing a comic book character, but he played Wolverine extremely well. So, like I said, man, I'm not gonna say the MCU's back because I don't think it is. We still got a terrible movie, I think, which is gonna be Kraven the Hunter. I don't think it's gonna be any good. We don't know how Captain America: Brave New World with Sam Wilson. I don't know if he's going to be able to carry the franchise by himself. It's no disrespect to Falcon or Captain America or whatever you want to call him now. I just don't know if I want to see a whole movie. After I saw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, it was okay, but you know, you're a guy that flies around with wings. Like, it's not the most exciting thing. Captain America, I mean, you got the shield, but you know, Captain America was a soldier, hand-to-hand combat, all that other good things. He was a leader. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Then it looks like they're gonna have two Falcons in it, like the once again another diversity hire, right? They're gonna have the Latin the Latin Falcon alongside him and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping the MCU makes a comeback, but based on what they had, I also read that they're bringing Wesley Snipes back for a Blade movie, and I'm like, hey, Wesley Snipes like 60 years old. Like, let me see, how old? How old is Wesley Snipes? Let's see. He's 61 years old. So I don't know if I want to see 61-year-old Wesley Snipes as Blade. Just it's almost like when Indiana Jones came back. Just we should have left him in the 80s and never ruined it with the Crystal Skull and whatever that last debacle was where he was looking super old. They probably should have just left it alone. And I'm gonna say they should have did the same thing with Blade, but apparently there's gonna be a new Blade movie. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, man, shout out to Deadpool and Wolverine, my new favorite MCU movie. So if you also looked on the topics tonight, is racism bad for your health? I saw something online. I don't even know. I think I might have just been scrolling through Twitter, and apparently racism is apparently bad for your health, and apparently they have done medical studies on this, right? And it says that it can give you poor sleep. I don't know if y'all can read that. Psychiatric disorders, coronary heart disease, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, higher BMI and obesity, inflammation, and stress hormone deregulation. So I don't know how racism, gives you inflammation in your knees, but maybe somebody in medicine can explain that. I also don't know how racism makes you fat, unless you say it's racist to eat a lot of fried chicken. I don't know how does racism make you fat. I don't know. But then people say, oh, well, it was the food they gave us during slavery, and it's like, yeah, you go to the supermarket and you have an option to not eat that horrible hog maws and chitlins and whatever parts of the pig and chicken and cow that nobody probably should be eating. So we do have a choice, but I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think, because like I said, I found the article. This was in the medical news today, and I'm not going to read much of it because I don't know. I think it's silly, to be honest with you. It says racism may be responsible for increasing physical and mental health disparities among Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Now, that part, the health disparity part, I can agree with. But obesity, you gonna blame that on racism? You got a little, you know what I mean? You got a little soreness, a little tightness in the knee. We're blaming that on racism as well. I ain't buying it. I'm gonna be honest. But y'all can check out that journal. Y'all can just Google, is racism bad for your health? And that was the medical news today. This picture right here caused a little bit of controversy in the Paris Games, right? Because some people said it was making a mockery of the Last Supper. But if you knew what you was looking at, and if they would have put that very large blue dude, who you'll see in the next picture, this was the Feast of Dionysus. Pause. Yeah. So that's what they were doing They weren't trying to make a mockery of a Renaissance painting. That's the other thing you got to realize. That Last Supper picture, it ain't Jesus. It ain't the disciples. It's just the depiction that was created by the Catholic Church when they were trying to get a lot of imagery of the biblical characters and the biblical things going on so they could, emulate this picture that we have of Jesus and stuff in our brains. So at the end of the day, you got to understand it's just that the Last Supper picture is propaganda as well. You know what I mean? Because we don't know. So, yeah, I know some, in quotation marks, there was a quote outrage online about it. But yeah, the T's were just doing what they do. And it would probably attribute it to Dionysus, which some people say is where they get the story from Jesus because he turned water to wine. Ridiculous story. But, some people, that's what some people will say because Dionysus was the god of wine. So if you got spare time and you want to bore yourself to death, you know what I mean? Shout out to Cannon Hotel checking in, man. If you want to bore yourself, man, you can check it out. But I'm going to say it's going to be my overall message. We got to stop being so sensitive, right? Because even if it was a mockery of the Last Supper, it's a mockery of the Last Supper, the picture. And the only reason why you could be offended is because you have an image in your brain of what the Last Supper looked like. We don't know if Jesus just sat at a table, because think about it. What table do you know where nobody sits across from each other? You know what I mean? Like, it's a long table, but you got to remember, because it's a photo and we didn't want to see the back of anybody's head, they're all facing, like, in quotation marks, the camera. You ever thought about that? Pretty sure you never broke down the Last Supper picture, but just think about that, right? It's there. It's imagery. It's propaganda, right? Oh man! Now it's time to get into not my favorite topic, but a topic that a lot of people talk about on the internet, man. And shout out to my boy Breezy, because he tried to warn us back in the day with his smash hit that I believe has over 1.3 billion views on YouTube. And he told us these hoes ain't loyal. You understand? And I'm going to talk about cheating. And I'm going to talk about infidelity for a little bit, because not from the aspect of right and wrong, because there's no way to justify cheating, right? Cheating doesn't happen overnight, right? It's rare that you were out somewhere and you just met somebody and it just happened. It never happens like that, right? Because there has to be some steps involved to get to the cheating point, right? There are some phone calls, there are some numbers that have to be exchanged, there's some information that has to go back and forth, right? There sometimes can be some drugs and alcohol involved, who knows? But anytime somebody feels, in quotation marks, remorseful for cheating, I just laugh. Because you should have felt remorseful in the steps leading up to it. Because my whole thing about cheating is, if you're not happy where you are, leave. There are 7 billion people on this planet. Why be unhappy and go cheat on somebody and then have the audacity to want to stay after you cheated? It makes no sense. Think about it. And I know I just talked about the Last Supper, but this is funny. Don't worry. Jesus knows you's a hoe. Absolutely. Because, if you believe that way, then you should know that when that Lamb's Book of Life is going to be opened up one day, good old Yahweh is going to be like, what you going to pick? And you will be going on that long elevator ride downstairs, based on what the book says, right? That's what it says. So, when it comes to cheating, this is what I think is the biggest thing about cheating, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, you should be able to forgive. Everybody makes a mistake. Nobody's perfect, right? And I fully and wholeheartedly agree with the forgiving aspect of cheating, right? You should forgive that person for cheating, but you should also leave that person after they cheat. And you'll say, but I thought you forgive them. There's a problem with cheating, right? And this is the main problem with cheating. You might be able to forgive, but can you ever forget this? Before you forgive her for cheating, remember that the other dude had her like this. And remember, at one point, it slipped out and she put it back in. And P.S., that dude asked her if she liked it, and she said, yeah. That's the hardest part to get over about cheating, because this is what you got to understand cheating represents. You tell somebody you love them. You tell somebody you want to spend your life with them. You tell somebody, I will only want to be with you. And they say, I want all the same things too. And in your most intimate moments, y'all say things, you can say you love them and all of these, depending on how nasty you are, wild and crazy things that have probably been said across bedrooms across the world, right? And you think that you're special because you hear those things. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God. All of the things that happen, right? And you feel special, like you were entitled to it, that it was a special gift just for you. And all of those things and the way it makes you feel and the way it boosts you up to know that either you're pleasing your partner or your partner is pleasing you, you know how you feel and how that makes you feel. The thought of all of those things happening for someone else, it's not an insecurity about, we all know unless you married a virgin, right? That person has been doing that for somebody else. That's not the part that hurts. The part that hurts is this was supposed to be, at this point in time when I accepted you, it was supposed to be something special for me. So once that happens, I don't think you can ever forget. I don't think there's any recovery from cheating. That's just me personally. Because as much as you might want to forgive that person, and sometimes children can be involved, and y'all can share a lot of things, property, assets, whatever. I just don't know if you can ever forget and take that mental image out of your head of, like I said, this person who acted like or made it seem like this treatment, their body was just especially for you at this point in time, moving forward until we decide to either die together or until we decide to go our separate ways, right? So I think that's the toughest part of it. But, y'all can let me know in the comment section what y'all think, because I'll get to something else in a second. But real quick, I got a couple more segments to get to. Y'all know, man, I appreciate all the comments, man, because y'all help produce the show. So at this point, man, it is time to go to Come and Talk to Me. And y'all know that's a segment where I put up all the great, wonderful comments of, can't say my audience, but, the people who probably watch the shorts. Hopefully we can get them to join the show one day. But until that happens, I'll keep letting y'all co-produce the show. So, where do I want to go first? I found a better way, because at least now I can show the topic tonight. Let me show you what I'm talking about here real quick. Let's look at these great, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful children of God out here. Daniel Jones, 379. Is that the New York Giants quarterback? I hope not, because sounds kind of racist here, buddy, and you need to be focusing on getting the Giants to the playoffs. Not on here talking about this, but he says, now I see why there is a divide in America. It's an intellectual issue. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of want to say I agree with him at times, because there's a lot of stupid people out there. But I don't feel like that's how he meant it. I feel like he was trying to take a shot.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon.
So yeah, Daniel Jones, 379. I don't know if you think that's the biggest issue in America is the intellectual divide. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's not, but I'm gonna take offense to it just for the sake of the show. This is by Bill Sweeney, Bama 2251. The deep state was running this show till God stepped in. What? What? The deep state was running this show until God stepped in. How sway, sir? I don't know if this is a comment towards my show, but I guess I'll have to believe in the deep state first for it to run my show. I don't think I've said anything that would give you the impression that I'm linked to those people. But
okay, bye.
Yeah, that's a terrible one. All right, this was a comment on Kamala Harris making history as the first woman. Bro is green. I don't even know if he can vote for the first black female president. It's two ways I could take that comment. I could take that comment as he said, either me or my co-host Birdie, we don't look over 18, which all these wonderful grades, thanks to the women in my life have given me. Yeah, should be over 18. Or was that a convicted felons, or he has the I've been to jail before look, so he can't vote because he's been to jail. And even though he has, if you just watch the short, you wouldn't know that. So it looks like a little bit of racism, but it just sounds like he hating on my boy Birdie because
I ain't got no bitches. Who don't got no bitches? He said I don't. I could press that nigga like, hey nigga, I do got more bitches than you with your ugly ass.
That's what it is. So shout out to my boy Birdie. Real quick, since I did bring up my boy Birdie, y'all gotta make sure y'all watch the Worst Podcast on Friday at 8 p.m. We doing something a little different. We got a debate coming up, man. Was there a transatlantic slave trade? Your boy, the Kung Fu Hebrew, versus that boy Birdie. That boy Birdie will be taking the position that there was no transatlantic slave trade, and I will be taking the opposing position that there was. So, man, y'all make sure y'all tune in on Friday, and watch that debate. We got judges. We're going to have a moderator. It's going to be a little different because, we still got to keep it that. So, unlike some of the other academic debates we can kind of put images on the screen, kind of, try to mess your opponent up a little bit. We're not going to make it so it's just interruptions, but you'll have like he might be talking and he might say something that I think is crazy. And if he says something crazy, I can do this.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild, B.
So it's going to be a little different. You only have a certain amount per round to try to throw your opponent off. So it's going to be fun, man. So y'all make sure y'all tune into that. Let's keep going. Right. This why channels don't grow. He said, let go into the mind of haters. Dude, you too old to not understand bars. And this is by Fly Ride Dagoon 9419. And I'm assuming this was a comment about Eminem, but it's funny that you mentioned channels not growing, because if you believe that's the reason why the channel's not growing, you do understand that when you comment on the channel, it helps channels grow. So so yeah, cool. And last, this was my top 3 hottest WNBA players. See who made the cut. This is Kiki Real 793. Bro, you can't even see them. Did you not know that before you put this video up? I absolutely knew you couldn't see them. That's why you gotta click on the video, man. You gotta understand the purpose of a short. The purpose is to make you click the button. So when you click the button and you say, well, dang, I didn't see the women that he was talking about, you click the other video. That's the way this YouTubery social media stuff works. You don't just put everything so then that way, oh, okay, I saw that part, then you don't have to watch everything else. That's the way social media works. But at this time, man, it is time for this.
And I am looking at a half-empty bottle of Cavassier, which means that we are just about out of time. But before I go, I'd like to leave you with just one more thought.
So, one of the other topics I kind of talked about tonight was woo. Can't cue that music yet. I forgot to show y'all the best thing on the internet. And I don't know what it is as a black man where I get a kick out of seeing white people kind of do black stuff. I really wish I didn't. I guess I can blame slavery. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know why. Well, I'll put it like this. Funny stuff that white people do with like black people. I don't like the white people trying to be black. I don't like the dancing. I don't like the singing like that. Like I don't like that part. But you know, I'm cool with different things. You know, like if you on my Facebook, you know, I posted the little dude that looks like Peter Griffin, and he got bars. I'm cool with it because, you know, he looks like Peter Griffin probably. Not because he's actually a white dude rapping, right? But anyway, I found this on the internet and, you know, I'm looking forward to, that's why I said, you know, when I have my big news and I'm finally able to be around and I'm not stuck out here on the road all day and I'm able to like, you know, have a social personal life again and all that great stuff, right? One thing I miss is karaoke. So it's always good, you know. Karaoke doesn't matter. You either want to be good or you want to be terrible, right? And I saw this guy doing some karaoke, and because he's a old white man, to me, it just made it perfect.
What you want to do, if you feel love it, if you really want to, you take it, go out there and knock you down like a tsunami, go do you like a bomb, out the head of the plane. Get head in the jag, she's a fucking bag. She's with heads on the tag. I got shoes on the bag. Yes, sir. Down 95. Yes, sir. You can see in my eyes. Yes, sir. Looking for a cutie pie. Yes, sir. We ain't gonna make love. Yes, sir. We can just cuddle up. Yes, sir. If you want me to beat it up. Yes, sir. Baby, I'll beat it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I enjoyed that. You know, I don't know. I just thought that was funny because, yeah, it was just funny. He even took a little liberty in the middle of it. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, he was feeling himself. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just funny seeing that old dude and, you know, look at how high his pants were. That's what also makes it.
What you want to do, if you feel love it, if you really want to.
Because they all pulled up, but at the same time as they say, he's still busting slack. Shout out to Prince checking in, man. Shout out to everybody checking in tonight, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in with you tonight. I got one more thing because I didn't play it the last week because I couldn't find my charger cable, so I couldn't get the video file up. I'm not going to play the whole thing. This is another reason why, like I said, I don't deal with politics no more. I don't get into politics on this show, at least. You know, I deal with it because, you know, my co-hosts sometimes want to talk about it, but ever since I kind of renounced politics back in 2020, you know, I'm only really going to deal with it if it's funny. And growing up, I was a big wrestling fan, and one of my favorite wrestlers has decided to get political all of a sudden, and it was funny, so I'm gonna play it.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States.
And just for the record, let's just see how old Hulk Hogan is real quick. because he's 70 years old, man. So I don't know what y'all think. Is that a good look for a 70-year-old man? I don't know. But yeah, man, let's just get to this last little part real quick.
Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Well, yeah, it's still funny. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all might not like it. Y'all might not like who he's supporting or whatever, but it's still funny to see him rip a shirt off and be on Trump's team. But back to where I was going. Like I said, man, earlier I talked about cheating. I talked about how as much as we want to say we forgive somebody who cheats on us, you're never really going to be able to forgive that person. I'm sorry, you can forgive them. Sorry. But you're never really going to forget what they did. You can try to reason with yourself on the inside and make it seem like, oh, well, I forgive you. Don't let it happen again, because what's going to happen is every single thing that they do, every single time they want to go somewhere, every time you're not around them, that image that I showed earlier, especially if you're a guy, is going to creep back into your head. Oh, I'm just hanging with my girls tonight. Really? Are you? Oh, I'm going to go get my nails done. Are you? Hey, I'm at work, but I'm really driving down Camp Creek. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what type of stories people can make up these days out of the blue, right? But at the end of the day, you got to understand one thing, and it's very simple. People of these are assets and liabilities. You can't have no in-betweens. Either somebody is helping you get to where you want to go, or they're hindering you from getting to where you need to be. So at the end of the day, you can try to be nice, you can stretch yourself out, and, take the high road, allow somebody to disrespect you, allow somebody to forget the vows that they made before God, or just the promise they made to you. I only want to be with you. But meanwhile, they're telling somebody else the same thing. So at the end of the day, you can decide to stay, but it's never going to be the same after cheating. So I would just say what I got to say, and that's pretty much it. But I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I appreciate everybody supporting me. Make sure y'all like this episode. Make sure y'all share this episode. Make sure y'all are tuned in Friday when I debate that boy Birdie on the transatlantic slave trade. But until next time, hopefully we'll be back on a Monday. I might be back in my mobile studio if these great people in Portland, Oregon can get my truck back working. But we'll see. So until next week, I've been the Kung Fu Hebrew. Shout out to everybody checking in. Shout out to everybody watching. You know what I mean? But I'm out.
Armani, this shit's Stewie, boy.
LTL.